Hello, my name is Zombie878 and welcome back to a new YouTube video. In this video, we're going to be making a flying vehicle that can fly, plus when you let go of the trigger, it will glide down and it will land. It will also crash into buildings too and stop moving so you can't fly. So let's get started with this tutorial. Okay, so first we're going to start this tutorial off by getting my flying vehicle V3 invention. And my flying vehicle V3 invention has all this. And once you go ahead and spawn that in, or you can just go ahead and copy all this. I'll just stay here for a second so you can pause and copy it all. This is 1.1 and this is delta time multiplied by 3. Okay, now that you have that, what we want to do is we want to, where is a trigger zone? We need a trigger zone. We're not going to be using any planes or anything. We're just going to be using this seat right here. We're going to place a trigger zone right here. And we're going to make sure that the trigger zone is not exactly reaching the edge, but put it pretty close to the edge. And we want to do this for all sides. After we do that, we want to make the trigger volume go down a bit. This will be where it stops. So if the maker pin object down here enters this, it will stop. And just so it doesn't act weird whenever it goes into every object it stops, we're going to make the trigger only detect tags with ground. We're also going to make the ground, trigger. We're going to change the tag to ground. You can change the ground tag to anything or make a pin tag to anything, but I just use ground. Now we're going to place the trigger volume up here. And we are going to leave that alone for a bit. We're going to work on this now. We're going to first start off by getting if player is a 40 chip and move it over here. And we're going to get a set position chip. Now that we got that, we're going to bring down the vector recreate chip. You don't need any of the multiplication chip. Then we're going to get this add chip and copy it down next to here. We're going to do the exact same thing we did to this. So we're going to connect the vector recreate, the two of these, just like the multiply, we connected the multiply to two slots on the add. We're going to connect this vector to create the two slots on the add. Then what we're going to do is we are going to connect it to the position of our seat. And to make it go down, we're just going to change this to -1. I don't think -1 is too fast. Let's change it to -0.5. You may need to play around with this to see if it's too fast or slow. -0.5, not -0.5. Okay, and now that we got that, we're going to connect this into the position over here. The target is obviously going to be the seat. Then we're going to mess with this. So whenever we press the trigger handle, it goes through here. It checks who's a 40. and then it flies based on who's a 40. But if you're not pressing the trigger handle, it's gonna go in the this if local player is a 40, and then it's gonna glide down. And we're just gonna test this out real quick. So if we hop in our seat, you see it's going down, but of course it's going down, and we don't want it to go down right away. And it's going down a little too fast, so we are gonna adjust this to negative zero point 0.1. Okay, so we are going to make it stop whenever we hit the ground. You saw how we kept going down. We're going to have it stop whenever we hit the ground. So we're going to get a trigger volume. I don't use the chip a lot. I think it's trigger volume get object count. Uh, Trigger volume get object count. Yeah. What this is going to do is this will get the object count of every object in the trigger zone, but because we're using the ground tag and it only detects the ground tag, whenever it touches the ground, this will go up to 1. We're going to get a greater or equal to chip, place it right here just in case it hits more than 1, because if we had an equals chip there and it hit 2 ground objects, it would just keep going down anyway. So we want to make it so if it hits the ground and the number of objects is greater or equal to 1, we actually want to get another if chip. And we're going to hook this up to the if chip. We're going to go ahead and disconnect this and reconnect the else to this. So now when you hit the trigger, it will go forward, but if you don't hit the trigger, it checks if this is greater or equal to 1. And if it is, then it will go down here into the if local player is a 40 and it will glide down. But if it's not hitting the ground, then it's going to just do nothing. So let's go ahead and test that out. So if I go ahead and fly up a bit, and then I let go of the trigger, should fly down. Oh, you know why it's not working? It's because I mixed this up. If it's not detecting anything and this is not greater or equal to 0, I mean greater or equal to 1, then we want to put this in the if local player is a 40. And if this is greater or equal to 1, which means it's touching the ground, then it does nothing. So now it should fly down. Let me just go up a bit. There we go. For some reason it keeps going down when it shouldn't. This the same tag? Oh, I forgot to connect this to the gold part of the clamp gizmo, that's why. Make sure everything is connected to the gold part of your clamp gizmo so when you fly it follows you. And now when I let go, it will stop when I hit the ground. And you can adjust how fast or slow it does when it hits the ground. Now that we're done with that, yeah, now that we're done with that, we're going to add collision. So if you collide into something, I don't know, maybe it resets the object. Yeah, let's have it reset the object. Reset room, spawner reset. How do you reset an object? I thought there was a reset object chip. Reset. Rec room object reset. There we go. So we're going to just put this down here. And since the seat's the one connected to the bottom of the clamp, we're going to go ahead and connect the seat to the object reset. And we are going to put a trigger zone, another trigger zone around the seat. So we're going to copy this. And we are going to make sure that it is not below the seat. We're just going to make sure that it's above the seat. Make sure it's one above the seat. Yeah, make sure it's one above the seat, and we're going to spread this out to the edges of the seat because since we're not using a plane, we are not going to spread this out. But if we were using a plane, then you will want to change these trigger zones to be at the bottom of the plane and to cover the entire plane. Just make sure that it's a little above this, little above the seat. And we are going to make this a bit taller. Hopefully, we're going to make it tall enough so when someone's sitting there. Okay, so change the tag to maker pin object. Because every time you make something, that's the default tag right here. Connect this to the gold part on the clamp. Let's see. Where is, okay, right here. We're going to copy all of this up here. Drag it up. And now if this detects more or equal to one maker pin object, then it will reset the seat. I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect this from here, connect it up here, and we're gonna connect the else here. So now it's constantly checking if you crashed into something. And now if you do, it should reset. And now whenever you drive into an object, it just resets you. And there you go. If you liked the tutorial, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.